I'm going to call this meeting to order, and I'm going to add, we're going to call it the Bridge Step Letter, the next step in the Bridge Step project to the Windham County Natural Resources Conservation District, or the WCNRCD, as we often refer to it. And with that'll go on to new business. And with that, we have the minutes from August 23rd.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from August 23rd.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have warrants 5 and the payroll 5P.
I'll make a motion, we approve warrants 5 and 5P.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Warrant 5 is for $45,259.52. That was going to fuel, tax refund, sheriff's monthly bill, the new boiler for the town garage that came out of the ARPA funds, and lane construction. I didn't get a chance to see what lane construction was. What was?
Oh,
Culvert.
Culvert, okay.
Yes.
All right, so that was most of it. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's see, ARPA funding. Any update on the roof?
I did end up going down to their business today,
Aha,
and so I got an appointment scheduled for Tuesday to meet with the person who gives us the quotes. And so it should have something for next meeting.
great.
Yeah.
Let's see, ARPA funding. Do you want to discuss the tent? Any update on the tent under here?
I did reach out to Dan Hoover on the fire department, and he was virtually.
Further down
Yeah,
in the
further
agenda.
down.
Oh,
Okay,
further.
all right, well, we'll hold off
Yeah.
on that. Okay, so we'll hold off ARPA funding. That brings us to public comments, and Mark Younger.
Yep, how you doing?
Good.
right, how you doing?
So, I'm back again about the permit, the building permit.
Yeah,
Okay,
I understand that the building permit was approved. Is that right?
yeah, I'm gonna go through
Okay.
it. So,
No. Your building permit was approved. Is that right?
yes, it was.
Okay. And someone appealed. Is that right?
I don't know, because nobody signed the letter.
You don't have to sign it.
Okay, well, we'll get into that.
No. You don't
What do you
have
mean,
to
no?
sign it.
I'm asking a question, I want a serious answer.
The serious answer is you don't have to sign.
And where is that state document showing that?
In our zoning,
But before we get to that, wait, stop right
Just keep
here.
that for
I wanna do one other thing before we get to this. Is there anybody here on the board that is an abutter to my property?
Yep.
You are?
Yep.
Do you wanna excuse yourself for being a butter?
No.
You don't?
no.
You sure about that?
Yep.
Okay, alright.
Okay.
Okay, so, alright, so now, 2 weeks ago, you told me that Roger and Todd here would check with the state, send me the emails showing me what the document says. I did not receive one
Okay.
email.
You did get
No.
email correspondence. You asked for,
I didn't get anything.
no, you got the correspondence, you were copied on it. So
No,
saw
I was not. I didn't have
No,
anything.
excuse me, I think he's talking about the stuff from Roger to Isha.
Yeah, you got that.
Roger to Isha, meaning, I got that one about all those emails I asked for.
Yeah.
But after that, we discussed that Todd and Roger would work
Can you
together
talk a
on,
little
Okay,
quieter,
excuse me.
quieter?
Todd and Roger would
Yeah.
work together,
Yes.
asking the state for the state statute,
have that.
the state statute stating
Yep,
what it was, either you had to sign it or not.
yep. Okay.
And,
And is that,
I'm looking, I asked the town clerk to send me a copy of the application to which you're supposed to fill out when you wanna have, opposed okay? And at the very bottom, it shows you where you're supposed to sign it and date it, okay? So again,
Okay.
it shows it right there.
There's nothing.
So is that a DRB app? I don't know.
This is the application showing if you wanna complain, there it is. And Roger said in the meeting 2 weeks ago, yes, there was a place for them to sign. You can look back on your
Mhm.
2 weeks ago meeting,
Yeah. Okay.
so that in itself, there's a place for it to be signed, and it wasn't signed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sign it after, because Roger was saying, oh, I'll just go get him to sign it after. That changes the document when it was supposed to have been put in within the 15-day period. Correct? It changes the document.
I thought our zoning bylaws don't actually say that you have to sign it.
Well, it
That's
shows it
what I-
right here, you have to sign it.
But our zoning bylaws don't say that.
But this is a state statute, remember? That's what
The
you told me, that
state
you had to find out from the
So-
state
Right,
about
so
this.
the process is Roger and I contacted the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, who advise towns on these things.
You got emails to back all this
I
up?
called them on the phone.
I would like emails.
The Vermont League of Cities and Towns, you're more than welcome to call them. They work for us, not necessarily for you.
They won't, he cannot call.
Right.
I
So-
can't call them. You said, or excuse me, you said you would help Roger. The last meeting we were in, you said you were gonna help Roger and give me the emails of the correspondence.
So, contacted them. I'm not gonna forward email from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns to you.
No, I just wanna know what the actual, what it says.
Okay.
I don't
So
wanna know what you,
Okay, so the document in front of you,
yeah?
so I'll do your work for you. So you see the
No,
green?
no, this isn't.
This is a
work for me.
Vermont statute. You
Okay.
asked for it, I'm giving it to you. Okay, so what is it? The top portion is the bylaws of the town of Dummerston, section 716. And it references the Vermont state law, which I've given you down below.
But I don't see where it says it has to be signed or not.
Let me walk through it for you, Tim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay? So,
This is what's on your document.
okay,
This is what this is.
so look at section 4466 at the bottom, which is the state statute.
4466.
So a notice of appeal shall be in writing. And shall,
Notice of appeal shall be in writing, which they didn't do.
well, hang on.
Oh, I'm just
we'll
going
get to
through
that
it.
in a minute.
Go ahead.
And it should include the name and address of the appellant, which you gave us this.
Right,
you
yeah,
gave us the appeal.
yeah, go ahead.
So name and address is included, I highlighted in green for you.
Yeah,
The next thing is a brief description of the property with respect to which the appeal is taken. Number 2, highlighted in green.
okay, again, this is all off your website,
No,
not from the
this is a
state.
see where it says state of Vermont. I took this straight from the state website.
No, you didn't take this part from the state.
That's-
This is you.
Vermont bylaws is at the top, then there's a line, see a line?
No, this is your law.
Okay, do you understand that the top above the line is the Vermont bylaw? Yes or no?
No, I don't, I
Okay,
guess.
it's a Dummerston bylaw. Okay, now read the first paragraph. Appeals in accordance with 24 VSA 4465. Now roll down to the bottom. I gave you 4465.
Okay, well, let's step back for 1 second.
Okay.
You were supposed to help Roger in
And I got the
correspondence.
answer.
Wait, let me speak, then you can go ahead and say what you want to say. Last time we were here, you said you would work with Roger,
Mhm.
sending me all the emails that what questions you were gonna ask.
That was not.
Yes, I have it, we have it on
was
video.
Isha Williams.
What?
It was Isha Williams. and
No,
then
no, no,
Those
no.
were emails, and then what we
No,
said is
that
we would
is not what was said.
We said we would contact the state and authorities and find out whether it needed to be signed.
No, I asked for the actual document, the email, what you were asking and what their response was. I did not see your email.
I did not email them.
Well, you should have, because it should be a documentation to back everything
To
up.
who?
What? Say that
To
again?
who?
To me.
The Vermont League of Cities and Towns doesn't work for you.
That's
They work
true,
for
but
us.
you work for me because I pay your taxes. So you work for me.
And so
And you said that you
Hey,
would.
Did you get no response? So
Wait, well, let's be fair,
You're not on the-
Roger.
Just calm
I mean,
down just
not
a
Roger.
little bit.
were you
Just
not
a
on the
little-
email?
I was not on an
The
email
response.
at all. That's the question. That's why I'm asking You didn't do what you said you were gonna do.
We
Hey,
can
Mark.
disagree on that.
What?
I did exactly that.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
You got the emails,
Only from Roger about Isha.
Yeah,
That's it.
you did not get a copy of this right
I
here?
didn't get anything else, not one thing.
Okay, so,
Cause I got that copy.
yeah.
so, as far as, okay, so is your question that if you don't get an email,
I question you then, at that point.
that's fine.
Well, I question you because you are in a butter.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's questions there.
Okay.
All right, so
Am I an appellant?
you,
I mean, you can question it all you want, but let's walk through the.
no, let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
No, don't jump the gun here.
Right, but we're
Let's
in the- I
talk
was-
about
hang on.
you being an
Mr. Younger, I
appellant.
was in the middle of explaining, you
No.
said, I want the state statute, so I'm walking you through it and you won't finish.
No.
Mark, you
You need to
are the
finish this.
appellant.
I'm the appellant, but you're supposed to
He's
be.
the applicant. The appellant are the 6 people that are appealing the decision.
Okay.
So,
Are you one of the 6 people?
No.
appealing it? Okay.
no. So, let's walk through the state statute. Because your question, all this question is the signature. That's what we were supposed to.
No, what I'm questioning was what Roger said. He said, when I asked him, I said, was that supposed to be signed and dated? His response was, if you remember, I can just go out there and get him to sign it.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And I said, no, that isn't being fair.
Okay.
Remember me saying that?
Sure.
Okay? Then you said that you would have Todd and Roger together and call wherever they were calling and email me with the response and what you were asking. Not just the response, I wanted to know what you were asking also.
Mhm.
That didn't happen.
All right.
It didn't.
Okay, it's fine.
Well, it ain't fine. Not to me, it's not
Right.
fine. Because I,
Do you want to know if there has to be a signature or not?
that's just one of the things, yeah.
Okay, so can we
Hold
address
on, hold on.
that?
I mean, I want to just say something. I see what he's saying. But I guess I just don't understand. I mean, we said we were going to email to him. Why wasn't he, I guess, on that email list? Because I received that. Did you get that?
Yeah.
You received this.
Right.
So the first email response was after contacting the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. Roger and I both submitted the day after the meeting. We submitted questions through the Vermont League of Cities and Towns website, so they would respond to
And
us.
why wasn't I copied?
It goes through their website.
Yeah.
I can't just add random people to this. So you go to their website, it's like, do you have a question? We ask a question, we identify.
But it is an email, correct?
It's a web-based system. It's a web-based system where you type your comment in and it goes.
So
in.
how do I know what you actually asked them?
I guess my question is, and I'm missing something too, is if we all received it, why wouldn't have we, if we told him we were going to give it to him, why didn't we have?
It's
his
not
say?
you didn't receive what was sent to the VLCT.
No, I'm asking.
You got a response from the VLCT when the attorney told me what they believe the law to be.
Right, and I guess that's what I'm asking you, Todd, is why didn't we send that to him, to his
It
email?
may not have been to his email if he wasn't on the original set of emails.
But you guys said you were gonna do that.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm thinking, is we did tell him we were going to send him that, and
I think
I-
I believe what we said is we would send him what we find out.
No, we can watch the video.
No,
if you want.
but I even though, I mean, we didn't send it to him, is I guess what he's saying.
This was not part of the response to the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. This was a response to other questions about how are we going to answer all these questions he has, right? And so in order to do that, Vermont League of Cities and Towns says it does not have to be signed for it to be a legal document. So we go in and we look at our bylaws, which refer to the state law. And if you read it, it does not need to be signed.
And I'm supposed to believe that this is the actual copy.
No, what you should believe is I made this up. You can do your own research. I'm trying to help you.
No, you work for me again.
I
You
know.
said that you were gonna
No,
do.
but
I don't work for you on an appeal for the DRB.
Let's get to the skinny of it. You said last week that you would help Roger find out
Got
what
it.
my questions were.
Right, and what did I do?
I don't know, because I didn't get
I
anything.
just told you what I did.
But you're telling me now, you're not telling me when it was happening.
So, do you want to know if it has to be signed or not?
I do want to know, but I want a legality part. I want the email corresponding your question you asked, what their response was. Because I still don't know what you asked.
So, okay, fair enough. I don't record my phone conversations, so their system.
But why didn't you, being part of the town, why didn't you do that as far as ask it through an email?
I did ask it through the website.
But you didn't ask anyone to send you an email with you asking
So,
any question
The Vermont
back.
City of League's in town when I followed up, so that was on Thursday after a call, after our meeting. So I hadn't heard anything back from Monday. Normally they respond quickly according to everybody here. I contacted them, their system had been down since the week before. So anything that had been submitted.
That's the other question. It took 2 weeks to get anything out of
Mark,
you.
he's speaking.
Yeah, okay.
So I called him, was directed to the desk, he returned my call, and I asked him the question.
But how do I know that you asked it in the right way?
What is the right way?
Well, I don't know. The question is, I want to know what you asked exactly.
Okay,
That's why I wanted the email,
Okay.
to know exactly how the questions were being asked.
all right,
Because you are in a butter, that means, in my eyes, I thought you were going to accuse yourself, but you didn't. So,
there's no need
it
to
is
accuse
what it
myself.
is. What?
So,
I didn't hear
do you
you.
want, I said I don't have to recuse myself at all. I mean, essentially,
You don't.
you just use the word accuse, which is funny because that's what you're doing. Do you
What?
want the answer to your signature question or not? 'Cause
I
if you
want
don't,
all the answers that I'm asking
Okay, let's
for,
walk through
not just one.
let's walk through the
Mark,
signature.
Listen to
Let's
him.
walk through the signature thing. All right. Here's the appeal that you gave us last week.
Yeah.
So if you look in the green,
Okay, let me ask you this.
Wait,
He can't, let me just ask you this. He can't go out and get signatures signed before this goes to the DRB because he was saying that he was gonna do that. So you're telling me that that's okay? You're gonna allow that to happen?
No, we're saying, what, apparently, that it doesn't need to be signed.
Okay, but the point is, you're telling me that you're not gonna allow that to happen.
I don't think anybody said that, but let's see.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
so look at
I'm listening.
look at the green section.
Yeah?
We're
This
gonna
one,
cover.
no, of the one tried to hand you, Mark, right?
That's his appeal.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
seen
yeah,
that. He
yeah.
gave that to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gave
Right.
it to you. Yeah.
So
Name,
name and
yeah.
address of the appellant, which is on the appeal.
Yeah.
A brief description of the property, number 2, which is,
Well,
has to be
we don't
included.
know what, all they put down was they only put the permit number. That's all they put.
Is it on there?
I don't know what
Do
the
you want
permit
a
number
bigger,
is.
Do you want a bigger description? I mean, what?
Well, I'm being anal about it, that's
Alright,
all.
So it says.
I'm being anal about
It
it.
says description of property with respect to which appeal is taken. It says Mr. Younger's land, access next to the fire pond on Middle Road, that's between Kipling and Dutton Farm Road. That's a description of your land, right?
Well, no, it should actually be a physical address with the actual,
It's got permit number referenced at the top, 3735.
if that's the actual number.
Well, they must have taken that off
Right.
the permit.
Right,
That's down on the road,
and in the
so-
application, it does ask, it asks who the person is that's writing it, you to sign it, email, a telephone number, the date you did it, none of that was done.
So do you want to finish going through the state?
Well, I
code?
wanna elaborate a little bit on what I'm saying to you about that. None of that was done at all. All we're going off from is what your word is.
I'm reading you the state code. I don't know what more you want, dude.
Dude,
I'm reading you the state code and you don't want to get through it. Do you
show
want
a
to know
little
what?
respect.
Do you want to know if this? I apologize. I do. It's more work related than this, so that I was incorrect on that. So I apologize. Do you want to finish the state code?
Yes, I want to finish the state code.
So the next thing is a reference to the regulatory provisions, which is in the appeal, and the relief requested by the applicant or appellant, excuse me, and the alleged grounds why the requested relief is believed proper. So all of those things are in the appeal you gave us.
And I'm supposed to believe this came off their website.
I think it says Vermont State.
I know, it's
Just
just,
look up those statutes.
I know, okay. But no emails, I won't get any of that. What you asked and what their response was. Nothing.
I don't have emails from them, it's telephone conversation. So
What?
I will go in and find the email right
No,
now.
I'm curious, I'm just
But that's
curious why that didn't happen. Roger knows how anal he is about emailing back and forth on other people, that you would assume that he would have said, we need to email Mark for he knows exactly what we asked and what the response was, you know, so.
So you
Exactly.
question whether this is the Vermont State Code?
Well, I question how you asked it, you know?
No, I'm talking about the Vermont State Code. Are you
I
questioning?
believe it's right, but I'll have to research it myself, like you said.
Okay.
You know?
It's so.
But the other question is, why didn't you send me something? It was 2 weeks before, 2 weeks coming here, not one thing you sent to me that you and Roger said you would send me stuff, and nothing came my way. And I questioned that whole thing. You being the chair, wouldn't you say, why didn't he help me? You said that he would help me.
Yes, you
Nobody-
should have gotten that, I think.
I believe you should have gotten that too.
Yeah, I mean, you should have also.
So,
Yeah, but you didn't make that happen, that's the question. You know, you dropped the ball. And that's why I'm questioning everything,
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Okay, we'll, I guess we'll just take it like that, and I'll just, I'll go to the higher place, I guess.
you don't wanna stay for another 25 minutes and have us go till 7 o'clock again this week?
No, we don't need to do that.
Thank you.
I guess the question is, if Roger brings that copy to the DRB signed, that is a reverse of what the actual document was. What does that mean?
I have no idea. From what I've read, it seems like it doesn't have to be signed.
No, okay, but I'm saying to you, if he brings it there and it is signed, that means he changed the document.
Todd, I think somewhere in one of the emails you sent us, somebody had told you that they should get the signatures just to tidy it up? Was
That's
it?
correct.
Okay,
But the point is, you can't tidy it up because it's after the fact. You can't touch that document, because
I
that's,
don't know about that.
yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't think I think if there doesn't have to be signatures, there doesn't have to be signatures, so why would you go change it, is the way I feel about it. So,
well, we'll see, I guess, when we go there, right?
so nobody knows if
Good luck.
Roger did or not.
Well, when I come here, I should say.
They won't come here again because, well, they
It
might
is
have their,
here.
yeah, they might have their DRP. We won't be here, let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
You guys won't be here, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
all
you
right.
have, you've got your permit, there's an appeal.
Well, that's the other thing, you know, like
There-
Roger,
No, you've got your
Go ahead.
permit, someone appealed, and now you have a date. Do you have a date yet in October?
no, I don't have a date
Okay.
yet, but I'm still waiting for Roger to tell me.
Okay,
And hopefully that actually happens, that I get an email.
yeah. And the DRB is a great group of
We'll see,
people,
right?
and they'll take care of you there.
Yeah,
And if you got your permit,
I know.
Roger went through all the stuff, so it doesn't sound like there should be
I know. It's
too
just-
much stuff. I mean, it's just a delay on your building process, but.
Yep. Okay, all
Okay,
right. We'll
Great.
see.
so thanks for
Thanks,
these
Mark. Yep.
folders also. Good.
Yeah, see, everybody just out here in line. You forgot yours too.
No, I got this in my bag here.
All right.
Can I-
Let's-
Can I just say something right now?
Yes,
I really feel, I feel that Todd should have recused himself on that, because being in a butter. Just to make things,
So let me ask you, recuse from what? We're not voting on anything.
no, but from the discussion. I mean, you could have done the discussion on this side of the table. You recuse yourself from that, just like I did when I did the payroll part. I sat over here and did it. I mean, that's the way, you know, when you recuse yourself, you don't have to leave the room. You just don't speak from that side of the table as a select board. You speak from this side of the table as a resident. I just think it would, you know,
I think if we can look into it.
okay.
I think as a resident, if I were an appellant, I certainly would have.
right. But I mean, it's just, to me, it's the look of it. And being, when all this happened, you know, somebody could say, well, he didn't become an appellant because he's on the select board, you know. It's just a look, and that's all.
I think, I don't agree on the recusing. the recusal, but I think maybe a disclaimer that, by the way, I'm in a butter.
Yeah, to divulge that.
I'm not appealing. I'm not part of this appeal process, so that would be in retrospect.
Right.
I don't think there's anything we're voting on, so
No.
no need to recuse.
Oh, no,
But
well,
I think
Yeah.
divulging that potential or
Right.
perceived conflict of interest.
right.
So the reason it didn't get to him is, so my response was to the town and the select board. And so that's my fault in not saying, please forward this to Mark Younger.
Okay, yeah, 'cause
So
I
the
was gonna
response,
say I got everything.
the response and everything, the original response, which is the guy's name and who he works for and what office, and outlines what he said, is all there is. Now, if he believes, which clearly he does, that he's being lied to on all fronts, there's nothing anybody can do about that.
I don't know if he,
Basically, he accused me of lying. He accused me of not asking the question the right way. He accused me of not doing my job. He didn't want to read the Vermont statute. He even questioned whether something I'd taken from the Vermont statute to give to him to read was valid, as if I'd altered it. That's his position. So I'm just trying to walk him through the Vermont statute. He can go home and see if it's valid. But basically, every single thing last week with Roger and with me now is accusatory. So that's just, that's the way, I don't know how to get around that. He still didn't read this. It doesn't say it doesn't have to be signed. It doesn't say it has to be signed. It does say it has to be in writing. And his first thing was going to be, well, it wasn't submitted in writing. And we all know that obviously people are not going to write it in pen and pencil. Right? But we never got to that. So,
right,
but that's fair enough. If it comes up again, I will divulge that if I'm involved somehow by proximity. I would have been very concerned if it's something we were voting on, but this is a DRB issue. So,
Right.
But I understand.
Okay, ready to move on.
Yep.
Road foreman's report.
Oh, great. Just kidding.
Sorry to keep you waiting, but it wasn't
Hey.
Let's see, what's any news? You guys,
we haven't got together yet, have we? Going to Lion Street.
I wrote Thursday. You don't work Friday, right?
I guess we
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
sorry.
So Thursday or Friday. We
Yeah.
tried last week, but there's the rain.
Thursday, like tomorrow.
Or Friday.
Tomorrow I'm at that training in Bells Falls, so
We'll try
Friday works. Just let me know on a time.
Just let me know on the time.
Do you want to shoot for 9:30 at
9:30.
the community center?
Yeah.
Okay. Feel free, if I don't show up, you can call me.
Yeah. I got service over there.
I'll put it in my phone or in the phone. Okay.
okay, so we'll table that for now. Let's see, State of Vermont Bridge Inspection Report.
I did not see that.
Okay.
But Lewis, I believe, told me that everything checked out because we were talking, was it to FEMA again? It came up somehow in that.
That's what I recall from that email.
So the only point on that, I gotta go ahead to look into whether a study was warranted to figure out if in a future catastrophic flood, the covered bridge would be at risk. And so we asked the bridge inspection team to look at that, and they said that was outside of their purview. So I've reached out to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers that owns and manages the Townsend Dam. And I've had some back and forth correspondence, but basically haven't gotten an answer yet as to what their capabilities are for.
I think the floodplain, when I talked to Megan about it a little bit from the state. And she was explaining that, the floodplains up the river would, once you get up, another 4 feet, there's quite a bit of floodplain.
Yeah, because it spreads out.
Right. So she was thinking that the amount of water it would hold would be quite a bit, to come up that last 8 or 10 feet would take, a lot more water than to come up 8 or 10 feet when it was.
Do we know how
lower.
close it got during Irene to the bottom of the covered bridge?
Not exactly. I know, I would, I hate to guess, but since it's quite a while ago, but I would say 15 feet, just say. It seemed like it was, getting up there. But like Quarry Road, for an example, it might have went onto the road a little by Ernie Clark's, but that's it.
Do you know where Ernie Cox is?
Oh, sorry.
Some of my kids.
Right.
He's been here for a while.
Like a quarter mile down from the bridge, Quarry Road becomes pretty close there and low. And it was right at that level, I would say, during Irene. So I think it's pretty good. I think if it does go out, we're gonna have, I think every one of them in town's gonna go, put it that way. It's gonna be, unless it's just strictly, Stratton or that area, what dumps down this way, or Jamaica or whatever. But, yeah.
Shorty Ferretti once told me that he remembered when he was a lot younger, before those dams were built, the water coming up to within, he said a couple of feet
Oh,
of the
yeah.
bottom of the bridge, but, it might
Right.
have been 10 feet.
Yeah.
Right, and that's, yeah.
5 feet.
Yeah, it is hard when you don't really want to stay on there too long when it's high. Look, but, yeah, I think the houses, along Camp Hardin Road, for example, I've never seen them flood.
Mhm.
I'd use that as a reference point to, well,
All right, I'll see what
yeah.
any response might be.
So that was good on the bridges then.
Let's see, Vermont Emergency Management, storm drains and culvert, debris,
I guess I didn't see that email
Yeah.
either, but I think we're in pretty good shape, put it that way. For storm drains, we have the West Village. That's our biggest lake.
That's New Business Week.
Yeah. I mean,
So I
didn't find it.
I don't think there's anything there, unless it was along the state highways or something that wasn't to do with us.
There's tire disposal collection day, but I think you have to take them up to Barry, is that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we got.
Yeah.
So,
And they're free to get rid of them?
The email we got, it was a survey that you had to take
Okay.
okay.
to see if, I think to see if municipalities would want a day during the week as opposed to a weekend when residents,
Right, okay, so when the town
yes,
road crew would,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone brought them and put them in a dump truck, I'm not against running to Barry to drop them off if the price is right, because you definitely get a lot of them, thrown here and there. And, if it helps clean up anything, that would be great, but I don't think going around the houses, it's not a really great idea. But getting rid of tires for free, I think that's a good idea.
Salmon Brook.
Yeah, didn't think of that. They gotta be brought to the shop.
all right, so.
Yep, alright,
I do,
Could take another look at that email
okay,
and decide. What else do you have?
alright, so we did have, one part-time person who got done, he got another job and they're plowing in the winter. That position, they only, pretty much plow when somebody's sick or if someone, isn't there. So it's a matter of, last year was, like 3 storms, just say. So, it's gonna be a hard position to fill unless just somebody wants something to do, during some snowstorms.
what do they need other than some experience?
It just, really, for the right person, we'd train them no matter if they didn't have any
Okay,
experience.
would they need a CDL?
No,
No.
Okay.
no. If they do, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then they cover, sometimes we've had a person before, come in the middle of the night and cover the night, you know, sanding, on the ice storms, but no, I'd be thankful for somebody who just wants to plow, so.
West Street, Lee, there's been a lot of truck traffic going across there. I mean, I've been told by some residents, there's been 50 trucks in a day that have been going up through West Street.
The Route 30 construction.
But they're going,
Trucks.
but they're going, because I happen to be coming up the other way and they're just going down, they're going up, coming south. They're going up West Street, going right through West Street, going down the West Street, getting right back on Route 30 and continuing down Route 30. They're not turning around to do, you know, it would be one thing if they were turning around to drop off.
I've had twice now in the last few days been going down West Street to the south of the village and had these trucks backing up into West Street, you know, and I've had to sort of back up to get out of the way.
So they're like turning around, they're waiting there or something? Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can look at the tire tracks there. You know,
Right,
there's a
they're
lot of
confusing
trucks
that.
coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, I did end up calling Mark, because Lori brought this up too, and,
Oh, so you already got the answer.
yes, and, well, he's gonna check on it. Mark Pickering, he's head of the state
Foreman.
garage, yeah, Foreman. And so he was gonna, you know, I mentioned to him if he wouldn't mind just stopping over there and mentioning, you know, to limit it to, I can see where it's a big benefit if you're paving from, the south end to the north end. So you can get your trucks lined up,
Right.
you know, they're coming from the north, and that's, to me, that's, you know, that's the price of having a road. But if they're not, if they're just
This is
doing it to avoid something there, what's not, you know, I think it's best not to go in the village. And even when we haul gravel, from the, Dummerston Putney gravel pit, to the west side, we go down through Brattleboro and we go Stickney Brook. Just because we don't want to, well, the bridge, we don't want any more truck traffic over that. And, the West Village, we only go on it when we're empty. You know, they might go back that way. But, just the least amount of truck traffic you can have, the road lasts.
It's gonna last a lot longer.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this sounded, I talked to somebody besides Lori over there and I saw it myself. And they said on a slow day, it's 10 trucks a day and, you know, they've counted up to 50 in a day. And it's a constant almost every day.
So it's a peak right now because they're putting the next coat on that section.
Right.
Yeah. I try to avoid the whole area.
Yeah.
I don't go over there very often when you're, it's a mess. But it's the home stretch, so. The roof meeting is Tuesday. Rice Farm Road, we've been doing some culverts. And this is to try to alleviate some of the washing. A lot of them are like, if it's a 500-foot span, we try to put one at 250, you know, that type of thing, or where possible. And then trying to alleviate any spot that we have to go out to after like a 3-inch rainstorm or 2-inch. You know, just trying to make it so we can concentrate on the really hard hit stuff.
So I'm curious, on Rice Farm Road, does the town plow that parking area for the Nature Conservancy?
No.
Who maintains that?
I think they hire a contractor.
Okay.
We did have to go in there a couple times to fix the ditch in the back. You know, it got plugged up with debris and so we cleaned it out, and I am meeting him there. It was late, I think it's end of September or something
Benny
like that.
Jack something?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the the text. But he's from the Nature Conservancy anyways. And my whole thing was, you know, if they could just check it once in a while and clean it out. Even though with the backhoe and stuff, you know, we can get in there, so it wasn't a huge deal.
Because he asked me to look at it, you know, I used to be on the board of the Nature
Okay.
Conservancy and was involved with Black Mountain and whatnot. And I offered that the other group I'm involved with, Friends of the West River Trail, a lot of the people that park there to use the trail, the West River Trail, and we'd be glad to do any handwork that needs doing. So you can mention that to
Yeah, I
to have
will.
him talk to me,
Um,
and I'll reach out.
yeah, the last time they were over there, I think they stone lined it, the Nature Conservancy, and of course the stone was a little too high, and it filled in fairly easy. So it's dug out pretty good right now. Besides maybe under that little footbridge that goes up into,
The trail.
yeah, that side of the river, or that side. So I think, no, but we do not plow.
I didn't think so, but I didn't know who was plowing it. So.
Yeah. So, Basin Brothers is planning on doing our gravel crushing. Last time I called him, mid-September, he did say he's running behind some. The Class 2 paving grant, that's the $200,000 we applied for the state. And we have 3 years to spend it. So I think it was, I can't remember the exact numbers, but like 158, we had 120. We save 1,000 just to make sure, like if we make a cut in the pavement, we can seal it back over. So we only had to spend, you know, that $30,000, just say, 40,000 from that grant this year. Next year, we're still planning on Miller Road and that end of East-West Road from the KOA to the bridge, to the hollow. And then the following year so far is either starting at the south end of Middle Road, and then we'll spend the rest, you know, finish up that 200,000. So, but I definitely think we got the worst of it. I think, you know, everything else is holding up all right. So Charlotte does have the paperwork in on that, so we should be receiving our money at some point. Insurance. I don't know if it was further down in the agenda, but the thing about the ARPA, yeah, right there it is. The ARPA funding for park lot and road structure.
Yes. Well, let's move that up and we can talk
Okay.
about right now.
So that is the first one that's getting engineered. And it's not 100%, but the permit is into A&R right now. Everything looks good on it. I was hoping if we could use ARPA money to go out to bid this fall, and then they would put it on their schedule for next year. I'm not sure on the price. Right here it says $220. I think that would be a good spot to kind of start at. But I'd rather not go out to bid if we don't believe we want to do it. It's a lot of work for a lot of people. And, you know, all the contractors and everyone. I think, you know, it's different, I guess, if it comes in at 400,000, then it's like, you know, we gotta hold off on this or figure out some other way of funding it. So I guess that was my question, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like tonight. It can be thought of, and it's just a matter of when I do get the final permit and plans, then I just make up the scope of work and have the pre-bid meeting and all that kind of stuff.
So, you were interested in ARPA funds because this the schedule with the state, we would get grant.
Yeah, it was 4 years that she said. The Leonard Road will be ready in the 4 years. And I'm hoping Johnson's Curve, holds off, but, the estimate on Johnson's Curve, and this is when it flooded, and it was only from one contractor, just saying, oh, this job's gonna cost you, that kind of a thing. But they were thinking over 500,000. We get 200,000 from the state as a max, and then we'd have to come up with the rest of the money. So I figured, if we can get one done, it doesn't really matter to me which one. But I do know Park Lawton Road failed this last storm. It ran over. Trees came down and blocked it. And I believe that the boiler tubes are getting, or one of them is, it's kind of lost the head wall, so it's kind of losing its shape. The pressure from the road is kind of pushing it down some, but, so I think that would be the one I'd shoot for. But,
The other thing we further down was the trash at 3950 West River Road. And I believe that's state.
yes.
That's state there, correct? That doesn't.
I think when Lori looked it up, I never did, but the landowner was like unknown in that area, on the map, on the views. So I don't believe it's town property. I think it's Old Route 30 ran down there.
Right.
Okay,
So,
so want me to send a note to that?
Yeah, yes, and just
Okay,
the state trooper.
either the state or unknown
Right.
to us, but not town property. So
Correct, yep.
yes. I believe that is about it, unless anyone has any questions on anything.
We had talked once about you giving us a tour, new select board members.
Yep.
I guess it would be Todd and me. I mean, Lewis knows the roads.
Lewis can
Yeah,
give it to her.
you get you lost.
Yeah, right.
So no rush on that, but it might be beneficial.
Oh yeah, whenever you would like to, really. Right, and take my Prius. Or anyone else's car, or if we all wanna go, I have access to a minivan also, which seats like 7. And then if we, I guess the main thing would be is just like, what would you like to see? I think past projects, future projects.
The Park Lawton Road
Right.
Trust in it, for example.
Right, exactly, that would be a good one to go to. I would say the next 3 would be good,
Yeah,
those 3.
Johnson's Curve might be good to
Yeah.
see.
The gravel pit, Carpenter Pit, we're on our last, just say 8 years. So we have to reclaim the whole thing, and so there's that, kind of a, and I do have a few pictures of, where it's progressed over the years. Then the Dummerston Putney gravel pit, that's, if you've never seen the spreadsheet, I think that's pretty important for the town. On, like how many years it's gonna last, gravel, what the expenditures are estimated to be, those kind of things. But really, anything you wanna see. There's been a lot of projects and a lot of good things, I think, so.
So Todd, is that something you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'd definitely go. We'll just have to figure out a time. It's a little tight for the next 2 weeks, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, evenings, whatever works for me.
Alright.
It's whatever.
What do you think? an hour, couple hours?
The problem is driving from project to project, of course.
You'd
Um,
be talking at least a couple hours.
Yeah, I would
otherwise.
say a couple, depending. I don't think there's any need unless somebody wants to go to like Stickney Brook, up there, but, we did do a structure right up near Sunset Lake 5 years ago,
Yeah.
3 years ago, somewhere in there, but, Mark did say, from the state, that the bridge over there, he liked the price point as far as that FEMA job, and that the state is now gonna start pushing out that style structure.
Which bridge?
Camp Parton Road? It's a smaller one, that one they did for the FEMA last year. It's just it's a open bottom bridge.
The one up by
concrete.
Sam.
Yep. Which I think as far as the price, and you don't have to do the boring for ledge. It's a good deal. It's as good as you're gonna get, put it that way. All right,
Okay.
have a great night.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Is there anything under correspondence for information that you'd like to go through?
I don't think so.
One thing that I don't see back on here was the, that STARS report, it should be on here, yeah.
Ah,
It's there.
It's on.
I did get a hold of the sheriff about, sheriff's office about that, 2 hours for the Humane Society. They did take that off. And the other stuff was the grant, and of course that was for the governor's highway system, it was the GHS for
yeah,
when the abbreviation, but that was all grant, so. But they had no issue taking those hours off.
okay, great. Who did you talk to there? You said?
The girl,
Oh,
it was the dispatch.
Okay.
Yeah.
right. Okay, under correspondence for discussion and or action, any update on Salmon Brook?
I have
Emergency
not heard.
Watershed Protection
I
Program?
have not heard back from them on the engineering design. I'll reach out to Michelle Point and see. I know they end up, when we first started this, they only had 1 or 2 applications, and then we had ours, and then I read recently, they had like 20 or 30. So I think they're a little bit overrun for doing engineering work, but I'll check with them.
Okay.
I'll forward you the email.
Let's see, employ, anything else on that program? Okay, we've been doing employee reviews. And we've got some notes, to review on one of them. And, what do you like to do with this review from today?
Do we have a sheet like we did for lease?
Yeah, there's a blank
Yeah.
one sitting here on the table somewhere.
Yeah, I thought that was just, I thought everyone got one, so,
No.
here, I got this one here. And Lori sent an email, so that could be downloaded from that email.
Right. So we need to fill that out.
Yes, we'd like to fill that out or get.
I'll start it and essentially do the same thing we did with the last one, right?
Right.
We'll fill it out as best we can, then we'll
Sure.
review it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't,
Or
yeah,
if you come up with a better system, you're welcome.
yeah, so,
Okay, great, and then we'll take some time, maybe before a meeting, sometime coming up. Before we get into budget season. Okay, ARPA, back to ARPA. We just talked about the possible 220,000 for structures. Any further thoughts on that?
If it is $220,000, that would probably only leave us about $30,000 or so. left of ARPA money to allocate.
Yeah, I mean, I would think it would be something we would, I mean, I think it's what the ARPA money was set up to do. So I would think it would be something that we would really wanna consider doing. And he said he'd like to have, get it out for bid this fall, so I think we maybe, I guess it's on the agenda, we could make a motion to have him go do it now, but I'd just soon wait and let until 2 weeks and put it on the agenda then.
Yeah.
And if anybody comes up with anything else they think why we don't,
That sounds good to me.
So essentially what we're doing is,
kicking it down.
because as he pointed out is, we don't want to start the bid work unless we're sure we want.
Right, because.
So we'll hold off to see if we have the money. to do
Right,
that.
we don't have to allocate the funds, we would just have to say,
We're going to.
just go ahead, Lee, we think that's a good idea,
Yeah.
Get a bid.
and get a bid, we might get a bid back and say, no, we can't do that, or,
$400,000
yeah,
or something
Exactly.
like that.
Yep.
right, and then,
That's a good idea.
Right. That 30,000 that we might have left, is that taking into consideration, redecking the bridge? Is that,
no, that's only what we would only have 30,000 left to allocate. And we haven't allocated any money to the bridge. We paid for the decking itself, the
Yeah.
material, but we haven't allocated anything to the actual work,
Mhm.
the actual
Yeah.
labor.
okay,
And was there a bid on the
No.
labor? There hasn't been?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
okay. Okay, so the tent that the church would like, any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I was asked to talk to someone at the fire department, West Dummerston Volunteer Fire Department, and I talked with Dan Riddlehoover, and he seemed fairly confident that there would not be any interest in the fire department taking ownership of that. Said when the fire department had a tent, or maybe it was more than one tent, they had a lot more personnel, and it was still a struggle to deal with it. And it didn't really make money.
Oh, I think it made quite a bit of money.
Did it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was their biggest fundraiser they had, and it was out, they used to have 4 crews that went around, and a crew was out every week, a different crew was out setting it up, so it was one of their biggest fundraisers they had, but they also had a lot more people, so they just don't have the people to do it. I did talk to Randy Hicken from the community center about it, and he was actually going to talk to, I think he said might talk to the people from the Grange, from the community center, and from the fire department to see, if they all, about being able to set it up and do it. So and I talked to him, I think that was the day after our last meeting, and I haven't heard anything back from him. So I can reach out to him again, find out what he said, or his thinking.
Okay. Any more on the tent issue? Any other ARPA? Okay, budget requests from town committees and commissions. Where you wanna,
Yeah, so usually we send out a request to all of the committees and commissions. I just usually email it out, so when would we like it all back? Last year it went out the end of August, and we requested that it was be back by Wednesday, October 19th. So I think if we send it out again, we have a meeting on October 18th, so I think we could probably still request it for the 18th.
Right.
For October. That would give all these commissions 2 months, knowing full well that they'll probably straggle in well after that. But
Okay, give them just a little over a month though, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, did you guys still have them come in? Or did you just have them give their request? Or did you actually have them bring their request in so we could talk to them about it?
We've done both.
Yeah,
We were doing a hybrid model last year.
Yeah. We didn't have everybody that come in. I think we have the fire department.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, we didn't have every single one come in. The year before, the year before COVID, we
Yeah.
met with every single one.
Right.
oh, yeah, that was the year I was,
So. But no, I mean, we can if time allows. I don't know that we have to necessarily meet with every single one.
Right.
Right.
Some who are level funding
right.
Yeah.
seems like.
But, yeah, I think if they're not, I think it would be good to have them come in and just
Mhm.
have the quick discussion with them and
Yeah.
see where they're at.
Yeah, so I can send that out if you want.
Sure.
That'd be
Sounds great. Okay, let's see. There's a request from Landmark Trust USA for a letter of support regarding a grant application for remodeling or restoring the Rudyard Kipling Historical Horse Stable.
Yeah, so I'll first say that I was on the Landmark Trust board. I'm not currently. I don't feel I have any conflict today. Susan McMahon reached out to me to see if the town would support this. They need support from the town to go after this particular pot of money. And I said I would bring it up, and I asked her to supply some background information, and then she sent me a draft letter. I edited it a bit and circulated it. I just fixed a little typo I saw in it, but that's been emailed to all of you. I think I'm pretty sure I sent
Did we
that.
have one right here tonight with that? No, I guess that was the,
Right. There's,
oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I saw it. Yeah, I read this. Yeah.
so is there a motion to sign this letter of support for this grant application?
I move that the select board approve or support this application.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
I'll abstain. Oh, and Louis, can you take care of that? And you'll see about sending it out, right?
Yeah, I think what I'll do is tell Susan it's here, and she can stop and pick it up.
Okay.
I'll leave it on Lori's desk.
Yes. We were on Watershed.
Okay, let's see. The bridge step letter. To the Wyndham County Natural
You
Resource.
want to do the errors and omissions?
Oh, yeah. Where, I'm looking for that. I have it here, but where is it on our?
Lori added it.
Oh, okay.
It's on this one.
Oh, okay. That's a different one than mine. Okay, we've got the errors and omissions certificate from the listers. They're changing a appraisal amount.
I'll make a motion that we sign the errors and omission certificate.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we all sign this. And it's
6.
6. 23 still. Okay. There we go. Okay, now, back to the bridge letter. This is just, let's see. This would be for the Union County Natural Resources Conservation District to apply for an implementation grant. This is for this covered bridge step project. And I guess it's a time-sensitive thing, so.
Yeah, they want, per the emails that she sent us, they want, they're hoping to have it by the 20th of September. So they can do, start with subcontract. I believe they want to try and do the work this fall. So he gave that date. And that's actually the next meeting day also.
And I guess there was some question whether there was a deadline, whether if we put it off to the 20th, it might not.
Might not make it in for this year.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So that's why we got it. So,
So my concern with it is that, and it's not mentioned in the support letter, but it was mentioned in the emails, that we are agreeing to a 10-year maintenance and something else contract. And there's no mention of that in here whatsoever.
Well, this says that the select board has delegated the Dummerston Conservation Commission for maintaining the site in a safe and it doesn't say, I mean, that was one of my concerns too, was the, I didn't even like the 10-year. I would like to see them just say they're going to maintain it as long as they're,
yeah, I think that would be good for the purposes of this grant. The grantor is just interested in 10-year commitment, but I would think it would be an open-ended commitment to.
well, at the last meeting, it was for 10 years. That's what they said. They said, if you want a number, we'll give you 10 years.
Mhm.
And I would like to see it be something that they have a commitment to for more than 10 years. You know, like, I'll be here in 10 years, I don't know, but whether they will be, I don't know.
And that they wouldn't, I'm assuming, because when we were talking with the Conservation Commission, that they would not be seeking additional funding from the town
Mhm.
for this maintenance.
Right. I think that's.
I think that's that's key.
So,
Does that have direct bearing on this letter of support?
This
I
is
guess it does in one way. I
one
mean,
step.
it's just it's a step. It's a step that I would have liked to have seen all that, and I guess it was with us. We've had that stuff, but it wasn't. It was vague. I mean, I think it was vague on the upkeep of it and stuff. And then it became 10 years, and that was what really.
What's it? Refresh my memory. The Conservation Commission was saying they would do it for 10 years.
They said yes, it was because we said, what kind of time are you going to do it for? And they said, well, if you need a time, we do it for 10 years because it was something to do with the grant or some
Yes,
reason.
the grant
They
calls for
right,
10 years. Okay.
right, and that's why they said 10 years. And I wish they had said we will do it until as long as the conservation.
I would say, if we sign this, I would get in touch with the Conservation Commission and just sort of go over that conversation we had with them, and with the understanding that the grant calls for 10 years, but the town would like it to be just go longer than
In
10 years.
perpetuity?
Yes, as long as the steps are there.
Which is what the letter basically says, right? It says safe and ecologically sound manner after it's constructed. So they didn't, when she wrote that, she didn't put 10 years on it.
Right, that's what I was saying to Marie when I was reading that. It does not say the 10 years here, but when we were sitting at the meeting, she definitely said,
So you want to coordinate and make sure that it's not 10 years, it's as written in the support letter,
right,
because then it is in perpetuity essentially.
right,
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
that's,
Okay. So,
And so, will there be a contract that we have to sign?
don't
I
know.
got the impression from the emails that there was an actual maintenance contract. Is that a requirement of this grant process? And if so, why is that not included with the letter?
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I would add that to the list then. Do you want to add that to your correspondence with them? So where does the 10-year contract fall? That has to go to the engineering firm or whoever's building it, right?
Right.
With the long abbreviation. I don't know if it's something like the EWPP where the town is agreeing to it and then sub-delegates it to, like we would, the 25% of the landowner, we'd have to do that ourselves. So I would assume that needs to be in place for them to file the grant.
right.
That was the impression that I got from the emails,
Yeah.
that there was some type of a grant form, or yeah, they wanted a letter of support, but then there was this maintenance contract.
Yep.
But we never saw the wording of what that needed to be.
Right. Yeah, it says ideally this would state that they understand that they will need to sign a 10-year O&M agreement as part of the final project. And so, yeah, I guess find out if that's something that's done in the letter of support, or if it's something that, because it says during agreement as part of the final project, or if that's agreed to, they come back and say, we're going to do this, but we need you to sign this O&M agreement. Find out where that falls in the timeline.
But by signing this letter, we're agreeing to it without even seeing it.
The 10-year O&M agreement.
Yeah.
I think we're taking it on faith that it'll be agreeable and, the Conservation Commission will step forward.
Yes, I don't think they're going to back out at this point.
And I think the risk of losing that funding if we don't get it in by a deadline.
I think the funding would still be there. It's just a matter of being with the timing, right? Is that what I'm
I
understanding?
know I think timing for construction is one of the issues.
Right.
I don't know about timing for the grant itself.
Oh, okay, I thought, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, because you said, I thought, yeah.
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 So I'll move that we support this, express the select board's support for this project.
Yeah, I mean, I'll second
Grant
it,
application,
pending-
I guess it is.
pending getting this information back.
Okay.
Well, okay, now, let me ask you a question. Did you want to make an amendment, ask him to add that to your motion, pending that we get that information?
Yeah, I would say, so yeah, I would second the motion that we support pending or getting the 3 items that we need. What is the 10-year contract? Actually, it's 2 items. And by the writing here, do they mean in perpetuity for maintenance? Because if they do, they drafted this, so the 10-year or forever. Basically, they're signing up forever, as far as I can tell. I mean, that's what they're telling us.
This here, to me says forever.
Correct. And I believe that's their intent. But I agree that the question was asked, and the 10 years was what the
Then that's
contracts required, but I think the commission is willing to do it in perpetuity, which is why they wrote it like that. So I think the maintenance is covered. What needs to be done as far as the O&M contract and when that's included, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that has to be shown them at execution when they come back, or if it has to be shown now.
Yeah, I don't.
But I guess if we're accepting that it's in perpetuity, based on what they've sent us, the commission, that the 10-year O&M contract isn't an issue because we already have them committed to do the O&M. So those two things are kind of met, right? By what's in this letter. I mean, pretty hard for somebody to come back and go, oh, we didn't say more than 10 years, so, but you did. So.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
So is that amendment in there,
I can think that's more discussion. My second is essentially what you forwarded. So the discussion was, are we covering ourselves? And I think we are, right?
That, because they said there would be no, and in their other letter it said there would be no more cost to the town, correct? Is that what?
That's my understanding.
The letter after the last meeting,
Yeah.
after we discussed the O&M, the maintenance, right?
Yeah.
That they would do it. We have to go back and pull it up.
Yeah.
I think that was included in there. In fact, we can just pull it up right now.
Good.
We think we've got it, right? Let's see.
Because I guess I just would like to have everything, written out before.
What would it be under? It'd be nice to know you know the auto sort, but I'm not smart enough. No. Well, don't know.
Zeke, you want to hand me the minutes on the,
the warrants?
Select vote is not the right search function. What was our last meeting? What was the date? I'm not smart enough to go back a previous month.
August 23rd.
23rd.
that would be right on the minutes.
That would be.
That I have it in front of me.
Oh, that was the 23rd meeting. It's one before that.
It was before
The
that.
6th. Yeah. Whoa. The 9th. See, I can do it for the same month. Well, I have your agenda, because that's labeled nicely. Props for that. Yeah, I'm not sure where it's at. I don't see it. I thought it would have been the next day, but let me double check. Yeah, I don't have it, so.
Okay.
Sign that.
So what's holding us up is the maintenance.
Yeah, I think it was what was sent after the meeting
Okay.
that was amended to say that they would that they would do the maintenance
Okay.
of the bridge.
So I would, this is a discussion, I'd say, we could vote on this and hold it and get the memorandum, a note saying that they will maintain it as long as there is a conservation commission. And then they can have the letter.
Sounds like something.
But I'm saying is, the grant is requiring an actual contract, not just a memorandum of understanding.
This grant right here that we're signing,
They're,
their other grant, the original grant to put the stairs in, is what you're
So
saying.
what it says is, a letter of support for implementation would be helpful as possible. This is from Corey Ross. Ideally this would state that they understand that they will need to sign a 10-year O&M agreement as part of the final project. Let me know if this can be arranged. And so that portion, so as noted, we think that they will do it. The question is, when is that agreement going to be handed to us?
Mhm.
And when is it going to be signed? Is that something that's required in order to do the letter of support? Are we agreeing to that? Or is it something that will be provided once they get the grant and they'll come to us and say, here's your grant for whatever, I don't know how much it's going to cost, $75,000. And in order for you to have this grant, you need to sign a 10-year maintenance agreement. Which I imagine is what will happen. And that's when we would look at it and go, well, we do have a 10-year, we have an in perpetuity maintenance agreement with our Conservation Commission because they've agreed to that. And we would sign it as the town. I'm not sure how else, I don't know how else it works. But that seems to be how it's going to, we just don't know when that's going to be delivered to us.
Okay. I don't think we get to that step until we've done this step.
Right.
It doesn't appear to be required, but I'm just reading the same stuff here.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Mine's just because I just want the clarity of it,
me
Yeah.
too.
that's
Yeah.
all.
Okay. All right, let's see. Is there any other business?
Yeah, the other thing I just wanted to mention, I had agreed to reach out to VLCT about the treasurer position.
Yes, right.
And I've done that and gotten feedback. Do you want me to circulate that? You know, it's in this platform from the portal. And I assume there's some way to export it into a document?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to
Yeah, I
just
mean,
read
we
it?
kind of pasted, I don't know how you can, I don't know what their sec function is, it didn't work for us.
How, I mean, is it something that you can read right now?
Sure. Do you want me to read my message to them and then their response? Or just their
However
response?
you,
So I said, the town of Dummerston, this is my message. The town of Dummerston has an elected treasurer, Charlotte Annis, who has been doing an awesome job, as did her predecessor. She let us know earlier this year that she intends to step down as treasurer at the end of her current term in March 2024. We are hopeful that we can find someone as good as Charlotte who will run for the position, but we want to do a little research into what-if scenarios. 1. If we are unable to find someone to run for the paid treasurer position, are there any precedents you know of to outsource the bookkeeping and bill paying functions? Have other towns faced this issue and shifted to outsourcing? Do you know of any companies offering such a service in Vermont? And 2, if we are unable to find someone to run for the position in March, what is involved in changing the position from elected to appointed, which would allow the select board to conduct a wider search, assess qualifications, etc. Are you seeing this as a trend in Vermont, changing positions like this from elected to appointed? And then I describe how much the position is defined as 23 hours per week, and I list the hourly rate. Thank you for any advice you can offer. Alex Wilson, Dummerston Select Board. So Cale Romanoff responded, staff attorney. Hi Alex. First, it is possible to hire a bookkeeper, but only as support for the treasurer. A treasurer is a required position in municipal government, and they must still bottom line, parentheses, sign off on any work done by the bookkeeper or an assistant treasurer for that matter, and therefore you will need to have a treasurer in place in order for the town to continue to pay its bills and payroll. Paragraph. If you are unable to find someone to serve as treasurer, you have two options. First, if none is elected or one resigns, you could appoint a treasurer to fill the role of an elected treasurer in the interim until the next election, special or regular, while you search for a more qualified candidate. This appointee could be anyone, a select board member, the town manager / administrator, or town clerk, for example, so long as they are they are a resident because it is an elected position. You just need someone to enable the town to pay its bills in the interim. The second option is for the town to switch from an elected treasurer to an appointed one, as many towns have already done. Switching from an elected to an appointed treasurer, though, requires the voters to approve an article on the switch at a regular or special town meeting. The primary benefits of switching to an appointed treasurer is that it opens up the applicant pool beyond the town's borders, and it also provides the select board with more oversight and control over the treasurer's actions. Elected treasurers are only accountable to the voters. And then he said, see our appointment of municipal clerks and treasurers, FAQs, and our vacancies and elected office FAQs for more information. 2 links. I hope this helps. Best, Kale.
So if nobody runs, we can't appoint.
We can appoint.
We can,
We can't.
As long as it's a resident.
Resident of the town.
Yeah.
Right.
and it's only
Until
an
the next
appointment
election.
until,
Or
yes,
special
Yes.
election.
or special.
So we could,
I mean, the other thing you could do is you could see if anybody's taking out a petition for it. And if somebody does, you do nothing. And if somebody doesn't, you could actually we could put our own on there, if we did it in the proper time, asking for a vote to go to
appoint.
an appointed.
Right. And what's the deadline for setting the warning for town meeting and the articles? Is that after the
Deadline to
deadline
apply.
for?
Oh, to submit petitions
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
office? It's pretty close, I mean,
Yes,
it's
it's
pretty
close.
close.
That's what I'm saying, you're running close to
Mhm.
doing it.
Yeah.
But most of the times, I think you're gonna see somebody taking out their petition in December or January.
Mhm.
You would
Well,
hope.
You know, it gives you a good indication whether somebody's going to do it or not.
And did I understand too, Alex, what you were reading? We can hire a bookkeeper, but only as support for a treasurer.
Right. Treasurer would still be the one
Has
that
to sign.
signs
Still
off
has to
on
be
it.
the one to do all, right.
So,
They can do everything, the treasurer basically has to sign for the payrolls and, the bills, the warrants.
so we could hire a bookkeeper or a payroll service.
But we still have to have a treasurer.
But we could have a select board member
Yeah, there's less
That's what you're
stress
saying.
on us.
Right.
Yeah.
to just
Why are you pointing at
sign.
Lewis? Or was that just happening?
No, it was going around.
He's like, you're not gonna appoint a select board member.
And Lewis is going like this.
None of us are
Just pointing at
so that's
you. Alex, it's you.
Yeah, I mean, changing it to an appointed position seems like a pretty so what's been the history of this? Have we been able to get treasurers? Is this just an oddity?
Yeah,
Is it?
Well, because treasurer's usually, well, and
There
Charlotte's
hasn't
been
been
around.
turnover.
Yeah, Charlotte's been around. I mean, it was,
it was Lori
Lori
before
before that, and Pam before that, because it was the town clerk did actually wore both
with
hats.
both,
Oh.
yep.
And then it got pretty big going, you know.
And Dummerston's only had like 8 town clerks in its history.
Right, so it's like Pittsburgh
So
football
50
coaches.
years.
So 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, right. So it's a little bit of an outlier that we don't. So when Lori wasn't going to do it or it split off, did we all sort of know that Charlotte was going to take over? Or was there a gap where you were waiting?
Charlotte was in the office as the zoning administrator,
Yeah.
Okay,
and so she,
right, so people kept moving and we had to find a zoning administrator.
right.
Yeah, I don't think our zoning administrator is interested in.
Right, no, it's just funny, he just never moved up from the
Well,
different chair.
he can't because he's not a
He's
town
not a
resident.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, I've let people know that this position's that we're looking for, and so I don't know if any of them are gonna.
And that's the thing, I mean, I'm hoping we're going to find somebody that will do it. I mean, I know what Charlotte does, I mean, she's gone above and beyond what her role is, because as the treasurer, if you actually look what the treasurer has to do, it's not help write grants, it's not, you know, a lot of the things that she does are not part of her, what she,
Technical.
What happens if somebody is elected as a member of Dummerston and they move? Do they have to resign? We have to find
I
a
think
point
so,
anyway?
yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we would do the same process, we'd have to
Right.
appoint somebody until
Yes.
the next election, okay.
Okay, well, good information to think.
you know,
Yeah,
that's
it's
how
good.
it's-
Kale's the same guy I talked to.
Could you send that around also?
Yes, I'll try to figure out how to do that.
Okay, great.
That was the same person you had spoken to?
Yeah, Kale, he's an attorney in the
didn't
municipal
know if it was a
assistance
he or a
group
she.
team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn? Are we at that point?
I'll second it.